if you never heard this, it's a very famous line, but it goes back hundreds, maybe even 1,000 years. That Daf Lamed Gimel in Shabbos is the daf about Reb Shimon ben Yochai and his son Reb Eliezer in the cave. It's the daf about Lag BaOmer. It's Lag BaOmer is the yahrzeit of Reb Shimon ben Yochai. This is his daf, as you'll soon see, and his daf Lamed Gimel. Is that a coincidence? The Chassidim say not, even though it's just like the page of a printer. But that's what they say. And there's a lot of other things about this daf. So the beginning of the daf is very, very tough, and it's a lot of musar. And then, like yesterday's daf, the same thing. It's going to turn much softer and much more chizuk. But we have to hang in there a little bit, okay? So I'm sorry, we're starting a few minutes late. I apologize. So we said like this, that because of this whole Gemara is based upon the Teichacha in Parshas B'chukaisa, which is the Teichacha of Vayikra, and it tells all the Averis and all of the results, and meaning the punishments, the Einshim for those Averis. So it's like very, very tough stuff. So the reason I mention where it is as follows. The Ramban very famously says that the one in Vayikra, the Teichacha in Vayikra and B'chukaisai, is the Chorban Bais Rishon, and the Teichacha of Kisava is Chorban Bais Sheni, which is because of, as the Gemara says in Yuma Daf Tes, because of Sinas Chinam. So you'll notice that over here, when they quote from Vayikra in B'chukaisai, it's all Gilei Arayis v'Chazdam and Avodah Zarah, and that's what the Gemara says over there in Daf Tes in Yuma, that was the reason for the Chorban Bais Rishon. It's Mamish Pila Ployim that it's on this daf. Okay, so let's go. So now I see more people joining us. So again, I apologize to everybody that just joined us. We're running a little bit late. I was talking to an Oval. Unfortunately, Yankee Schwartz's father was just nifter, and he may call me back during the shiur. I told him that we're learning till about 3:00, but that has priority. Okay. So now it says about when Gezalav Goiva Oila. So now Goiva is really what it says we're going to say tonight, is the Makkah of Arba. It's locusts. And because of Gezel. So the Rishonim almost all say over here unanimously that what's the Midah Keneged Midah? Because we stole from other people, so the locusts steal from us. And it becomes normal for there to be a rov, a famine. So there's a pasuk over there, and if you have on the side the Torah Ora Shalem, it brings all these psukim. So one of the psukim that we're going to have in a moment is that it's also pasuk in Eicha, very famously, that people will eat their children loyolenu. So many poskim say that it's not really chas v'shalom cannibalism, although some say that it is, and they bring all sorts of proofs. But others say it's that people will lose their natural love for their children, and they're going to sometimes put themselves before their children. So they're going to grab something to eat, even though they know that their children are starving. So there's a lot of connections over here to the Holocaust, the Chorban Irapa, and we'll see a little bit also today, maybe more than a little bit, to Corona. So now the Gemara says, Shenemar, Shimwa Dover Azeh, Paroi Sabosha. Now we said before, who's the Paroi Sabosha? We spoke about this yesterday, that's the women. Asher Bahar Shomer, they lived in Shomron. Ha'oishkos Dalim, they're very mean to the poor people. Ha'roitzitzim Avyonim, and they break the backs of the poor. So what does this mean? So Rava is very tough on the women. Rava says, but I want to show you, I had a chance yesterday, we learned this yesterday, I want to show you how he's not so tough on the women. So I want to be very fair to the ladies. Tonight we're gonna include the ladies in everything good. So we want to be covered to them. You can say this over. It's a beautiful analogy to this Gemara. So Amar Rava said, so the mechayzer is two different ways of pronouncing it. So now we're on Lamed Gimel Lamed Aleph. So we said yesterday that they eat too much and they don't work. Oksiv, it says, so before we go into that, so I just wanted to show you an amazing pshat in this. What does it mean that he's blaming the women? So especially Rava, because Rava is the one that says, the Meiri asks this right over here. Gemara, you can look it up if you have a minute, but Mitzvah that from test, that Rava used to tell the people, he was the Rav of Mechuzah, and he used to say, Oikiru l'nishaychu, be nice to your wives, give them covet. Ki heichu d'tisasru, so you should become rich. So the Meiri explains, Gavaldig Pshat. The Meiri says that over here, Rava said that the women of Mechuzah, so they were, they got fat off the land, so to speak. They were lazy, and they stole from their husbands. What's the pshat? Because they ate them at a house and home, not just food. Meant that they're always demanding jewelry. The way Rashi learns, the top Rashi, so either they themselves are improperly eating their husbands out of house and home with their demands, or because of that, the husband goes out and steals. So either they're stealing because it's improper. But many Rishonim say, what do you mean? If a husband knows that his wife is what they call it, high maintenance. So yeah, that's what he does. He pays for her all the things that she needs. There's not a taina on the stealing. Nobody's stealing from anybody. So, but Rava, the way we just said, is like this. It's really the husband's fault, Rabbi. So you got to hear this. It's the husband's fault because they weren't nice to the women. If you're nice to your wife, whatever each what's it called? Whatever he's able to afford. But if we're kind and we're respectful, Aikiru, that's the lashon of the Mitzvah. Be respectful to your wife, then they don't do these things. That's what the Meiri says. Meiri says, if you're nice to your wife, then you won't have all these problems. Okay, let's go back to it. It says, let's go into the Gemara. He Casey has Chem Bashit off from Vayiraka. Yeah, I'm not taking this, but I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna have to check each call to see if it's Yankee. I have another couple that also Loyoleno is involved in an Avelus. That's now. So I'm just gonna say it's a fellow Rav. So Chalten the Mitnashia and Schuldig to Devailach Akoshev Sameach Chatzedikli from Zeitz gebenched. Menashe was your neighbor, Rabbi Feitman, so I had to have a little bit of cover derech eretz. I finally eat. Okay, so it says like this, that the Navi, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, so I ruined your crops with the wind. This is the bad wind that we had yesterday, the south wind. And they turned moldy, and all of your gardens and all of your vineyards were saying Nechem, and that's the figs. And and all they'll all be eaten by the various attacking things that attack the crops, worms, etc., etc. And it also says, yes, and then after that, whatever was left over, so that's from what was left over from the arbe. Yes, arbe. And whatever the arba didn't eat over, the yelek ate over. But yes, yelek each of these things is different attacks on the crops. And then the pasuk also goes on and says that Kodesh Baruch Hu hits on the people look at the right and look for food they don't have, and they look on the left and they try to eat from the left, and they're also not happy. And what do they do? Everybody eats their arm. There's people when they bite themselves. So this means that they eat their children. So this is what we explained before, what we say in Eicha, and it's based upon the psukim in Vayikra in the Teichacha. Now, the Gemara is going to say, for those that came on a little bit late, and we started a little bit late, I just want to mention that this is the first part of the Gemara is very, very tough. It's mamish gevaldiga, unbelievable, Musar, and then it gets a lot more of chizuk later on in the Gemara, so we have to hang in there. Now this is on the Rabbonim and the Dayanim, because they delay judgment. Now that you're allowed to delay judgment, let's say there's a, what they call in court, so who's on the docket? So in Bezdin there's also a docket. People are supposed to be taken in a certain order, not by riches or by power or fame or anything else. So there's a docket. So, but let's say that the judges, and Mamish Pillar pulling the Dayanim, so they're a little bit lazy. They don't want to work at 7 o'clock o'clock in the evening. So they finish at 5 o'clock and they go home. That's called Inu Yadin. That's mamish. The people don't get judged when they're supposed to get judged. The Kilkul Adin, and that is when they're careless. They don't look up the halacha carefully. Or Bittul Torah, and Bittul Torah is when people don't learn when they're supposed to learn. So Charavu Biza Rava. So what happens is there's an invasion of the Goyim, and there's a tremendous looting. That's not what people are afraid of even now in some neighborhoods. The Dever, but Cyrus boy, and listen to this, and there's going to be a Magefa. Dever, like we're going to say it tonight in the Makis. So that's a Magefa, an epidemic or a pandemic. And but Cyrus is there's going to be a famine, and people will eat. There'll still be some food around, but they won't be satisfied. And everybody will have to be rationed. In other words, they're not going to have enough money, they're not going to have enough food, and everybody's going to have very limited food. What's the chemis nekam bris? So how do we know that it's going to be because of bittul Torah? So it says, so if you take a look at the pasuk over here on the side, so it says in the pasuk, in the Torah or Shalom. So that pasuk in Yirmiyah is a bris. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a bris with the world that if we'll learn Torah, it's all up to us. So then the days and nights will be normal. But the less normal that they are, it's a raya that not the world wasn't destroyed. Because Baruch Hu said he's not going to destroy the world, but it's a raya that there's something to do with Torah that people are not learning Torah. Now it says the apostle will go on. So now the apostle goes on and says that 10 women will have to bake in one oven. There won't be enough food to go around, so they're just going to share an oven. It says that's because they found my mishpatim disgusting. So we're finding some of this today. We're going to discuss this in a moment. Then, because people swear either for nothing, or shvur sheker, or they swear falsely. Shem, Shabbos and people Machal Shabbos, Chaya there's going to be wild animals. And because of their attacks of the wild animals, so there won't be any domesticated animals. That means behemoths that we can shech. Listen to this, and there'll be less people. And the highways and the big avenues, they will be deserted. What we're seeing today. So I just want to say one thing over here. I don't know how many of you saw it. Usually everybody knows what's going on in the world much more than me. But this time everybody sent me videos and clips and things like that. So I didn't really see the video, but I saw a picture that in one place, I think it was in England, not here, but somebody told me it happened in the United States also, where there was towns that were deserted. So the wild animals came out of their forests, and they were wandering around, eating from all the gardens and eating from all the lawns, and mamish just destroying. I just saw pictures of wild goats. I have no idea what more there was, but somebody told me that there were mamish other wild animals, foxes, and I forgot what somebody told me, also wolves, that were wandering around, coyotes. These are mamish wild animals. It's exactly what the Torah over here described and what our Gemara explained. We'll soon see. Just hang in there, please, if you don't mind. You'll see that the antidote is today's Baal HaYard site, even though it's not his yard site today, but it's Daf Lamed Gimel and Shabbos, which is about Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, and his yard site is Lag BaOmer, according to most Paiskim, and it's today's Daf. The antidote to all this is Reb Shimon Bar Yochai and his son, and we'll see what that is. Okay, Shenemar, it says like this, and if you won't listen to my Musar, the word Sivasru comes from Musar, so the Gemara says, Al Tikri, so it says, if ba'ela. So what is ba'ela? The word Allah means a shvua, and it means that people that broke their oaths, their shuas. So I will send the animals of the field upon you. So now tonight we're going to talk about arbus. I just want to tell you a shtickle. I learned this from a big gadol, and then I heard it again from my Rebbe. I have a Rebbe, but my Rebbe was the Tenkeruz Zatzal. That tonight when we say the Makkas, so we should have in mind that the Makkas should be on our sonim, on our enemies. I don't want to say I'm using euphemisms. Many people understand. Probably everybody He understands it should be on all our enemies. So, excuse me, he used to say like this. Tenker Ruv used to say that we say on the Yom Neroyim, so he said, how come it doesn't say Mevatlin? I've said this over many times, Yom Neroyim. Ma'avira means should be taken over to our enemies, to the bad guys. So today we all know where the bad guys are, and all these things, all the makkahs should go over. But we see over here that sometimes it's on us, sometimes sometimes it's on our enemies. So the tefillah that we should have tonight, we should even speak it out, is that all these things, like we said, arba. So arba over there, it was a makkah on Mitzrayim. That's what we want. All the makkah should go on all these people. All the bad guys, the ones that want to destroy us. So all these makkahs should go upon them. Okay, go weiter. So now it says like this. Now, what does it say when a person swears falsely? And that causes a chil Hashem. So there's a hekesh between the two. And we combine it all with those that swear falsely. Now we go to, so for those that I think missed the beginning, if you don't mind, I just want to repeat it because it's very negeya right over here in this part of the Gemara. So I mentioned that these psukim all come from the Teichach in Vayikra. The Ramban holds that the Teichach from Vayikra in Parshas B'chukaisa is the Teichach and the Churban of Bais Rishon. Bais Rishon, the Gemara says in Yuma Daf Tes, is because of Gil Rarai Shvichus Dam and Avodah Zarah. The second Churban is because of Sinas Chinam, right? So that's what this Gemara focuses on, Gil Rarai Shvichus Dam and Avodah Zarah. So we spoke a little bit about Gilei Arayis, but we're going to talk more. And now it's Shvichas Damim, and then we talked a little bit about Avodah Zarah. It's also going to come back. So Ba'avayin Shvichas Damim, for the Avera of murder, Beis HaMikdash Chorv, the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. Means the first Beis HaMikdash. U'shchinim is and the Shechina left Klal Yisrael Shenema v'lo Nifu. So don't bring Averis on Klal Yisrael. And don't defile, don't contaminate, don't ruin the land. Because Baruch says, I live there and you're driving me out. But if you bring Tumah, you won't be able to stay in Eretz Yisrael. And I won't be there. So now the Gemara says, Gilei Arayis, remember we said we're going to talk about Gilei Arayis Shvichas Dam and Avodah Zarah. So now, where does Shemitah and Yovel come in? We just said that in the Gemara in Yuma, it only says Gilei Arayis Shvichas Dam and Avodah Zarah for the first Beis HaMikdash. So if you think about it, and the Rishonim all do this at great length, that when people don't listen to Shemitah and Yovel, so it's like Avodah Zarah because they're worshiping either like money, like that's not a bad thing to remember for all of us, that money is not a god. Okay, and therefore they worship, oh no, I have to work in Shemitah, I have to work on Shabbos, and they work all sorts of impossible of things that it's improper for us to work, and therefore they drive Hashem out. So Golus Ba'alei Olam, we're all sent into Golus. And then the people that come into Eretz Yisrael, they kick us out. And that's when the PLO, etc., come into our land. Okay, let's go back to Shenemar. How do we know this? So because the pasuk says, because these people in the land. Now this seems to be the people not from Mishalanu. And they ruin the land with tumah. So it says, so the land will not. Don't let the land throw you up. But chas v'shalom, if you do the wrong kind of parades and by Maven Yovin, so then the land will kick you out and you're not going to have a government. Okay, everybody understands. What does it say? How do we know that there was Avodah Zarah? It says, "V'nasatis pigreichem." I will throw your dead bodies. It says, "Al pigrei." The pasuk says, if you take a look in the Torah, or so it says, "V'atokiros is v'v'leistokiros eschem," and then it says, "V'shmatis b'amesechem, v'chvatis chamanechem, tzadi b'chem al pigrei gilulechem." Your dead bodies, in other words, people will drop dead on the idols, on the Avodah Zarahs. So you see that the people were worshiping Avodah Zarah. V'shimaisi es migdashechem, and I will take your migdashim and I will make them empty. Now, I'm not saying Musa today, Rabbi say, but the Musa is here. It's not that I'm saying it. Sometimes the shuls will be destroyed, like in let's say Kristallnacht. That was the beginning of the Holocaust of Churban Europa. And sometimes Kadosh Baruch Hu is just going to say your shuls will be empty. Pil leployim. Vashimaisi does not mean necessarily I will destroy them. It means I will make them desolate, empty. Pil leployim. Again, I'm not saying anything. And I will spread you amongst the nations. You'll have to go out into Golus. So now, how do we know that Shemitah and Yovel is the same thing? It says, so you didn't make the land rest when you were supposed to. I'm going to give it a good rest because you're not going to be there to plant anything. And you will be in the land of your enemies. And when will it rest? It's going to rest all the days when you are going to be kicked out. Now, this is Pilaployim, and there's a Chafetz Chaim, and this we're going to learn in a minute, that because people speak improperly means bad language. They say the wrong words. It's not yet Lashon Hara. Sorois, Rabbis, Gzeris, Koshes, Mischachois. So there's going to be very bad Gzeris that'll come in Klal Yisrael. So, and the pasuk says like this, Soini Yisrael Mesim. Now this is a euphemism, Rabbi said, Lashon Nikiya, the young boys will die. And the orphans and the widows, they're going to cry out, and they're not going to be answered. Why will they not be answered? Because there's not going to be anybody around. Shenem is not going to be anybody to help them. I must tell you, I can't help it because I've been on the phone all day about the almanas, especially almanas. Forget about Yisayimim. The almanas that are Nebuch alone this year, and people, wonderful people that usually invite them. And this goes also for almanim and people that are grushim and grushais that are usually with very wonderful families, and this year nobody can invite them, and people had to say no, nebuch. So we have like a whole team of psychologists and psychiatrists and social workers, but these people are nebuch alone. That's mamish what this klala is. It's a klala, and in every dar it comes of course differently. So what we have to do is we have to try at the end of this daf to do what it says over here that we should do as a ripui, as an antidote, and to take away these klalas. Okay, let's go weiter. That's Yisaimov. That's Amanaisav. So I'm sorry. Hashem will not be able to be happy with his bachurim because he has no tightness on the bachurim. We'll soon see later on. And he won't even have rachmanis on his almanis and yisaimim. Why? Because everybody did the wrong thing. Everybody spoke. Apparently, everybody spoke nivel peh. And Kadosh Baruch Hu was still not angry. Was still not finished with his anger. And his arm is still outstretched. What does this mean? It means, according to most Rishonim, that he still has more punishments in store. So now the Gemara asks, so now the Gemara really means like this. We're going to talk about what is nivel peh. So nivel peh then was different than nivel peh now. Everybody knows why the collar goes into the chuppah, but we're not supposed to talk chas v'shalom grub. We're not supposed to talk in a specific way. I feel but if somebody says why the collar is going to the chuppah, why do people get married? It's none of our business. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. I feel because many Rishonim say because the average lifespan is 70 years. So even if he was given an entire lifetime of promised good years, they're all turned out to be bad. So anybody that does speak bad words, so he goes deep into Gehenna. So what does this mean? I'll explain in a minute. Unbelievable what this means. So the person that speaks badly, there's a deep pit that's dug for him. This means even a person that heard bad speech and he didn't say anything, he didn't say stop, he didn't say don't talk like that. So even he's punished. That means that the person that Hashem hates is even the person that is silent. Now, I just want to tell you, Givaldi unbelievable pshat. What does this mean? Gehenna is deepened. Obviously, Gehenna, nobody wants to go to Gehenna, and Gehenna is terrible. So it's all terrible. It's all full of fire. What's this deep in Gehenna? So the Mefarshim say an amazing thing, that somebody that's towards the top of Gehenna, like for instance, the Bnei Kairach, it says that there was a place given to them at the top of Gehenna. So they did some things wrong, so they went to Gehenna, but they're at the top. What's the mile of being on the top? So it says that many times tzaddikim go by Gehenna, that they're in Gan Eden. But like, I'll give you an example. This is like my own little example. The Badicheva, he loved everybody. So he went to visit the Rishayim, quote unquote, and to try to give them a little bit of a smile. So even a Russia Marusha, when he's in Gehenna and he sees a tzaddik go by and the tzaddik smiles at him, he says, don't worry, just a little bit longer, hang in there, you'll get out of here. So it gives them a little bit of menuchas hanefesh. So anyway, but the deepening of Gehenna means that they don't even see a tzaddik. Tzaddik doesn't belong in Gehenna. That means sometimes he'll come by to visit. And my other mashal is Rabbi Levin Zatzal, Rebbe Yasher Shver, the tzaddik of Yerushalayim, used to go visit the prisoners. And even if he couldn't get them out, just sing Rabbi Levin. And by the way, even the Goyim, there's all sorts of proofs, historical proofs that even the Goyim, they wanted to convert when they saw him. They wanted to be Megayah. Of course, he couldn't do it. Okay, let's go weiter. So Rav Ashi said, anybody that prepares his schedule so he can do Avera, so he's going to be full of suffering in his body itself. Because the pasuk says, I'm going to explain this in a second. That a person that has wounds all over his body, it comes because of this aver, because he prepared to do an aver. But he's also going to get drukan is going to talk about. We're going to talk about in a minute what exactly that is. But it's some kind of a terrible aver. It seems to be of the whole body. And he'll have diseases inside his body. So anyway, I just want to tell you what this avera is. I don't think anybody that I've ever met, chas v'shalom, is ever chas v'shalom shaykh to this. You know what it means? It means a guy like this. Let's say that guy does an avera, and he has a taiva, he does an avera. He didn't plan to do it. He fell into it. So over here, this is a guy, he puts it on a schedule. That's what it means over here. Remember? Let's go back to the words. What does mamarik mean? He puts it on his schedule, 3 o'clock. That's what I'm going to do. So that's a terrible thing. So I always say over from also the Badicheva, but it's somebody else also, that it says, Shuva Yisrael ad Hashem lekecha ki choshalto abavin. What does choshalto mean? A person fell, he stumbled into an avera. So that's, it's not good, but it's not as terrible as a person that plans b'mezid. B'mezid, that's what it means. He puts it on schedule. Today I'm going to do kach v'kach v'kach. He says, Badicheva said, no Yid would ever do that. The way he put it was, by the way, no Yid ever did an avera, and before he started, he said, L'shem yichid, like we're going to say tonight, or hineni muchan mezumah by an avera. Yidden only do it by a mitzvah. Okay, doesn't mean we don't do averas. Means chas v'shalom, we fall into sin. So that's what we shouldn't do. Amr of Nachman bar Yitzchak, similar avera hadrukun. So now this is a very scary thing. The Gemara is going to say that a person that has this hadrukun, so this hadrukun is, it seems to be, it's something, as we'll soon see, that it's the swelling of the stomach, and it brings about loyolenu. There's a lot of machlokes. There's a guy who wrote a whole book about this. Preuss is his name. He wrote a whole book about the maladies, the diseases in the Gemara, and what they are today. So whatever it is, so this is something that it seems that a lot of the Amoyroyim had, and the Gemara had to prove that they didn't have this Avera. Pilaplim, let's see now what it says. So the Gemara says, Tana Rabban, we learned in the Raisa. There's 3 types of these things. Shal Avera of. So if it comes from an Avera, the Avera means over here sexual Avera. So it means, the word Sam Avera means Gilei Arayos. So it comes of it. So the skin becomes very thick, and it's like blown up. The shorov tefuach. Shorov means it's bloated by swelling, not fat, like a lot of layers of skin. Like that was because of an avera. The shakshafim, and we don't have that today, Baruch Hashem. If a person was over on kishuf, on some kind of sorcery, so then it's a very thin skin. So now, and it breaks very easily. Shmuel HaKot Nechosh Bais, and Gemara says that this malady, so Shmuel HaKot had it. Now, Amar, he said, Rebbeinu Shalom, me, Mephis, who's going to try to prove, who's going to, like, we don't do this today, but who's going to make some kind of a lottery to show, this seems to be, I'm just telling you my pshat for what it's worth, like the mucker of the Gairul Agra. The Gra taught a certain Gairul that a lot of Gedali Yisrael used, and we do it very, very rarely. There's a whole sefer now with 300 pages telling you how to do it and how not to do it. So, but that's what the Gemara, I think, means over here, that they used to be able to prove this is right, that's right. And we don't know how to do exactly the way the Gemara did it. So he said, me, Mephis, who's going to be able to do this girl for me to show that I'm innocent? Because I didn't do that. I'm just some sick, he said. So Itzi, because of this, because it shouldn't be a Chilul Hashem, that Shmuel HaKatan appeared to have done an Aveira that brought about this disease, so he became cured. So Abai also had this. So when it says, Amar Rabbi, so Rabbi said, I know that Abaya, the Machpin Nafshe, that he didn't eat the things that you're not allowed to eat. He didn't do any of these things that you're not allowed to do. So Mistam became because he fasted too much. So now it's very interesting that Abaya fasting a lot, and Rabbi told him that he came because he fasted so much. So if you look in the Achronim, we don't have too much time for this. It's a machlokes Abaya and Rava, because in the Gemara Nazir it says that a Nazir who doesn't drink wine, right? He stops himself from drinking wine. He's called a chayte. And then the other opinion is that he's a kaddish. So we hold these sometimes a kaddish, sometimes a chayte. So that's this machlokes Abaya and Rava. Abaya held that you should fast a lot, and Rava said no. Rava said that you shouldn't. But in any case, he said that Abaya didn't have any of these averis chas v'shalom. It came from excessive fasting, and Rava didn't hold with that, obviously. Now Rava also got it where it says I have a Rava who the nefishi ketila kedar menefichi kefan, that the people that die from the swelling that comes from pots that eat too much, so that's more than the people that die from hunger, like Abaya. So Rava knew how to avoid hidrokan. So how did he get it? So Morah answers Shani Rava, the Ansil Rabbana beidna bal karchet. So how did it come about? So the Gemara is implying over, we have to look in Rashi, that it's a person that holds himself back from going to the bathroom. So it wasn't because of eating or not eating. It's because it says in Shulchan Aruch that a person has to go to the bathroom. He has to go to the bathroom. But that's why I have a running machlokes, I have to confess, with teachers, Rabbeim and Moros, who don't let the kids go to the bathroom. You have to make that kindness, obviously. They can't go out for 2 hours. But if they go to the bathroom properly, it's halacha. You're not allowed to hold it back. It's a terrible thing. So anyway, so Gemara says that Rava was different because Rava used to give long shiurim, and for the covet of the Torah and for the covet of his Talmidim, so he held back from going to the bathroom, but meanwhile he became ill from it. Tanarban, we learned in the Bais, Arba Simon, and there's 4 types of things that people do wrong, and it brings about different types of hidrakan. Similar Veira, so we said that the sexual sins is similar sin is chinam yerokan. So the simanim go like this: that similar avera. How do you know that it's avera? It's the sexual sins. That's hidrakan. That's what we just said. All these type of different types of hidrakan. Similar sin is chinam. But if somebody hates Jews for nothing, so then it's yerokan. He gets jaundice. Similar gastas ruach. If a guy is a big shot, so then he's anios, he becomes poor. Similar lashon hara, askura bisman azeh. Most people say it's diphtheria. Some people even say that loyalenu for many hundreds of years that it was actually something, a very very bad strep throat, which used to kill before there were antibiotics. Now the Gemara says like this. Let's go over here. Now we're going to go to Amud Bais. Meiser, it comes because people don't give Meiser. Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yossi, Amar al Lashon Hara, because of Lashon Hara. Amar Ravi, Sam Rabbi Shubin Levi, Micro. What does the pasuk mean? Melech Yismach Belikim. So when the Melech was happy with Hashem, Yishalu Kol Anish Baboy. So happy is everybody that swears properly. Peace, but the people that lie and they swear falsely, so they're going to be stopped. So what does that mean? They're going to get Askara, because Askara, the Gemara is going to explain, begins one place and ends in the mouth. So what does Gemara say? They asked the Shiloh, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yossi, Al Lashon Hara Kamar. Did he say that it's only because of Lashon Hara? Dilma Al Lashon Hara Nami Kamar. He said no. It becomes because of all the other affairs that we said before, but also including Lashon Hara. So the Gemara brings a long proof to this. Tashma, we're going to bring a proof like this. When our Rebbes went in where the Sanhedrin was in Kerem B'Yavne, so that's where the name of the yeshiva obviously comes from. So Hayasham, Rabbi Yehudah, Rabbi Loi. So there was over here, so one girsa is Rabbi Yehudah, Rabbi Loi, but one girsa is just Rabbi Yehudah. And Stam Rabbi Yehudah is Rabbi Yehudah, Rabbi Loi, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yaisi, Rabbi Shimon. So initially, there was a shaila that was asked like this: Makazu, this askrum how come it starts in the kishkis and the gemeris bepeh, and then eventually this kind of like a contagion goes through the body and comes out of the mouth. It seems like it was like boils and sores and things like that. So Gemara says, so he was always the first one to speak. We'll soon see why. The Amar, he said that Alpha Shekloyas Yoyatzos. So Chazal had an explanation. We can't get into right now that the kidneys, they are the seat of being a good Bal Eitzah, giving good advice. Even the heart understands, and the tongue, which allows a person to speak, so it gives a person the ability to be eloquent, goimer, but the mouth is the one that really ultimately speaks. So that's why the mouth, in other words, it ends in the mouth, because the mouth is the one that we spoke about nivel peh, it comes through the mouth, and lashon hara. So now, Nana Rebbe Lazar Rebbe Yaisi. So that was Rebbe Yehudah Rebbe Loi. The Amar, he said no. Is because they eat tray for things. So the Gemara says, is it shaykh that a person for eating treif is he's going to be punished so badly? Doesn't say in the Torah, just says it's allowed. So he gets malchus. Why does he get? He dies one of the worst deaths. The Gemara says they eat things like trumas and meisers were not taken off. The Gemara says, Nana Reb Shimon Amar Reb Shimon. And we'll soon see. Stam Reb Shimon is Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. He said like this: for the aveira of bittul Torah. So it's because of bittul Torah, because they didn't speak properly with their mouth Torah. So now, they said, this goes back and forth. We're going to prove that it's not Torah. The other one said, do get askara, but the vatlis is ba'alein. So where do women come to learn Torah? So because they don't let their husbands learn Torah. So obviously this goes back to the Gemara we had before. Obviously a woman sometimes has to say to her husband, we have to go here, we have to go there. But stam to battle him, to mavatl him, and by the way, it goes both ways, Rabbi say. Very often, women that see that we're battling, so then they want to go someplace. They say we're not learning anyway. So come on. If a man is taka always using every spare minute for learning, our nashon sitkanias, they wouldn't be mevatlos. Chas v'shalom. So the Gemara says, Nachrim Yechichu. So by Goyim, they have no shaychus to Torah. The Gemara says, no, Shemavatli Yisrael, because the Goyim, they don't let us learn Torah. They legislate bad laws, and there's anti-Semitism. The Gemara says, Tenoikos Yechichu. So the children, this is the little children, so they have no shaychus to learning. So why would they get askara? And they do get askara. The Gemara says, Shemavatli Sasavian. There's someplace they bother their father, and they don't let, so that even though they're little kids, but over here some say that they're old enough to know better. That's what some of us say. Now, this is older children. They themselves learn Torah, and what do they want when they come home? They want their fathers to learn with them. So Gemara says, why do they get askar? The Gemara says, no, Hasim kid Rabbi Gurian. What did Rabbi Gurian say? The Amar Rabbi Gurian, B'Sem Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Shmaya, Bisman Shet Tzadikim Ador. This Mamish Pilla Ployim. If you ever heard this, if there's Tzadikim in the generation, Tzadikim Nisposam Alador. So I can't say it. Subtly, we lost the Novominsky yesterday, Zechat Tzadik Livracha, and many other Gedolim, and the last 2 weeks is Pilla Ployim. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows. So we don't know exactly what's going on, and nobody's a Navi ben Navi Chas v'Shalom. But one thing we do know over here is that Tzadikim were nifter, and then they didn't get a very big hesped, and they didn't get very big levias, and in some cases it was even difficult to understand, to get them tachrichem and to get even a basic tahara for Gedol Yisrael. So to see if it's, I'm sorry, it's Yankee Schwartz. If you don't mind, give me a second. I'm picking up, okay? I'll be right back with you. Hello? Yes, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of a daf. I'm sorry. Can you call back in a half an hour? sorry, I don't want to say who it was, but I made a mistake. It was my mistake. I thought it was Yankee Schwartz from the cemetery. Okay, so it says like this: that the tzaddikim nitposam alador. So the tzaddikim, they get sick and they die, and they are a kapara for the generation. Ein tzaddikim bador. But if there are no tzaddikim rachmana litzlan, tinokish beisrab nitposam alador. Then little children, they're the next purity. They're the next line of tahara, and they die for the generation, for a kapara. Amr Baziri, Amr Ben Nazira, Micro. What do we see this in the pasuk? So pasuk in Shir Hashim. In Loiseidel Chayafa Manoshim. So if you don't know where to go with your tzayin, with your lambs, oh, beautiful one. That's Klal Yisrael. Tzilach Mikvei Tzayin. Follow the footsteps of the sheep. So go where the shepherds are. These are the lambs and the goats, that they are a mashkin for the shepherds. The shepherds represent the raya. We all know that there's Zion and Royim, Avram, Yaakov, Moshe, etc. And in every generation, the Royim are the Gedolim that we listen to, the Heilig Gedolim. And then it says, if there's no Gedolim, so the next step is the Ikvei Hatzayin, is the little children. So by the way, just as a very important thing, when we don't know what to do, Rabbi say, so what do we do? Follow Minig Yisrael. The Ikvei Hatzayin. Some people say sometimes, they're following like sheep. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. If a God will be Yisrael does something, we do it. And that's, I hate to say it, but that's what we've been trying to say these last couple of days. And I hope everybody's listening now, that if Gedol Yisrael say they're going to daven b'yechidus, we daven b'yechidus. I'm just saying one of the things. Okay. Shmami, no. So what do we see from here? So Shiloh was before when Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yossi said that all these averis that come about and they bring about these different diseases. So then he came along and said it's lashon hara. So we want to know that does he say lashon hara also or others? Now we know that it's also others. Now, why was he called the Rosh Hashanah B'chol Makom? So Gemara said, "But my Karli Rosh Hashanah B'chol Makom." Why did Rabbi Yehudah speak first? It's an amazing story, and we'll try to be masber as we go along for just 5-10 minutes. We started at 2:00. It's probably going to take an hour, all told. The Yosef Rabbi Yehudah, Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Shimon, the Yosef Yehudah ben Gerim Gabayu. So it's like a pliadik thing. There were these people that were born Jewish, and then there was somebody named Yehudah ben Gerim. His parents were Gerim. He was a good guy, but he had Gerim. That means he came from Gerim. His parents were Gerim, but in the extended family they were Goyim, and this happened that it brought a takala on Klal Yisrael. So when they were sitting, so each one of them said something. So Kamanoyim Masem Shal Umazu. So Rabbi Yehudah said he tried to praise the Romans, and he said, "Look what the Romans did. Tiknu Shavakim. They made for us marketplaces, very good marketplaces. We shouldn't explain why they were good. Tiknu Gesharim, and they made for us bridges." Rabbi Yossi Shasa. Rabbi Yossi didn't say anything. He didn't want to praise the Romans. And then Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai so Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai said, "They criticized the Romans. He said, Kol mashu tiknu la tiknu elu l'tzarech asman. Whatever they made, they only made for themselves. Tiknu Shavachim l'shmem Zionist. They made it for Zionists. They made marketplaces they forbid averis. They didn't make it for us anything. They made the bathhouses. They made it for their own, to make a beautiful spa for the Roman people. Gisharim, and what did they make? The whole purpose of making the bridges, like everybody knows, some of the bridges they're not needed, but they're only to collect taxes, right? Tolls. So Holch Yehudah ben Gerim, v'sipa divrayim. So he went and he told what they had said to the people. V'nishmul malchus, and it went to the malchus. So the Gemara stresses that he didn't chas v'shalom lie, he didn't exaggerate, and he didn't tell the goyim directly. But since it was spread through Yehudah ben Gerim, so they were saying all these things. So now the Romans heard about it. Apparently they got an exact report. Who said what? Mamish Pilaploim. Amru, they said, the Romans said like this. Yehudah she'ilah, so Rabbi Yehudah, that he praised the Romans. Yis'ala, so he was elevated to be, quote unquote, the head of the Jews. So that's why after that, Rabbi Yehudah was the Rosh Hashanah B'chol Makom, because that was the title that the Romans gave him, not by the Yidden, but we had to do it also. And even Rabbi Yehudah was a tzaddik, and he meant well. He meant to be mishabeach. You said be mispal b'shlem mishal malchus. He's supposed to pray for the government. So he did the right thing also. We'll soon see each one of them had a good kavanah. So now, Yosi Shishosak, so Rabbi Yosi, that was silent, he didn't defend the Romans, so Yiglut Sipari. So they sent him into Galus. Shimon, Shagina, but with Shimon Bar Yochai, they spoke badly about the government. So Yehareg, so they said he's going to have to be executed by the government. So Ozalhu Brei, Tashu Be Medrasha. So what they did was they hid in the shul because that's the place to hide. That's where all of us want to go now, I know. So Kol Yom, every day, every day their wife, that means Reb Shimon's wife and Reb Eliezer's mother, brought them, riffed a little bit of bread, because the and a little bit of water, or the karchi, and that's what they ate, and they lived on that. However, but then the FBI, the CIA was searching for them. So Reb Shimon said, "Noshim died in Kala." Now Kala. So this means like this. It doesn't mean Chas Hashem, the women are bad. It means that women are very weak. They're physically weak, and they're going to be laying tortured. And women can be tortured in ways that men can't be tortured. So he wanted to spare them. So they had ways of seeing that a person is not lying. So they wanted that the women should be able to say they don't know where the husband and the son are, and then they'll leave them alone. That was the cheshbon. So Gemara says, "Dilma mitzarim lo megal yilon." So we're afraid that they're gonna torture them, and then they'll have to talk. So now what do? So they went and they hid in that famous cave. So nace happened. So they HaKadosh Baruch Hu created for them a charuf tree. That's what we call buxer. And a spring of water. So they mamish ate the buxer and drank the water. So for how long? So they went into the cave. They didn't know how long they were going to be there. Or could be Baruch HaKadosh. They did. So they took off their clothing because they knew that their clothing is not going to last very long, and they can't go out. Mamish is like us. We can't go to the cleaners. We can't do laundry. They'll employ him, right? So what do? They sat up to the next B'chola in the sand, and we'll soon see the sand was not comfortable at all. Kuli Yomigarsi, they learned all day. So what did they learn? What's the shot? So we all know that the result of that learning was the Heilige Zayir HaKadosh. It was written on the most dire of circumstances. And in that circumstance, they wrote Mamish Gevaldig Sfarim. I have a friend, very chashuv Rav, and he couldn't give the regular shiurim in this 2 weeks time, and he's been writing a lot. Somebody told me that Reb Chaim Kanievsky, they had to cancel the Kabbalah Sakol, so he hasn't been seeing people for hours every day. So somebody told me from the Mishpacha that sometime later this year, as Hashem, they'll probably, who knows how many new Svarim for Reb Chaim Kanievsky. A person like that, they have time on their hands, so they learn Torah. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai and Reb Eliezer, they wrote the Zohar. Okay, now let's see what happened. So be'idin saluya. So when they daven, lovshum michasu v'matzli. So they put on their clothing. And then they took off the clothing again. So so that their clothing wouldn't wear out. So it seems to be the halach is very interesting that for davening you have to be dressed better, like a hat and jacket, whatever it is, than for learning Torah. Okay, let's go back to. So Isu Tracy they were in the Morah, in that cave. People can visit the cave these days. They say they know where it is for 12 years. Also, Nabi apparently didn't want to go in. He said, "Man, Kesar, who's going to tell Reb Shimon Bar Yochai that the Roman emperor died? And the Xavier is over, and they can come out." Nafku, so they came out. She said they saw people, the Karve Vizari. They were plowing a field and they were planting. So now we're going to try to finish up the daf in a moment. This is the story of Reb Shimon and his son. Amar Reb Shimon Bar Yochai said, they're not learning Torah. They're doing regular things like planting. These are farmers. So he didn't understand because they were so orangutan and they're learning for these 12 years. So what happened was, we'll soon see what the 13th was. So wherever they looked at anybody, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, the guy would die because he wasn't learning Torah. So Hashem wasn't happy with them. So Baskal came out from Shemayim and said, "You came out to rule my world. You're going to kill everybody." So Chizul Maraskal, go back into your cave. So they went back in. So they went for another whole year. The first one talk about what they wrote during that year. It's another story. They said we all know we say Kaddish only for 11 months, but during the 12th month, so that's for Rishayim. So they said even we, let's say we did something terrible, but we're allowed to come out. So Baskal came out and said that you can come out. However, they weren't finished. Nafku, so when they went out, whenever Rebbe Loza looked, so have a so wherever Rabbi Elazar looked, so also the guy died. Havimasi Rabbi Shimon. So Rabbi Shimon would give another look, but this was a look of love and respect and of refuah, and he would save the guy's life. So Amalai finally, Rabbi Shimon said to him, we can't impose this kind of a life that on everybody, that you only learn Yom V'Layla and you don't work. So the Gemara is going to see that they found out that it's okay. So so when Shabbos was coming, so Reb Shimon and Rabbi Eliezer saw an old man, who was coming with two hadassim. So and he was running right before Shabbos. So they said, what do you need this for? So he told them, Shabbos. Oh, I'm bringing this home for Shabbos. So Gemara says, isn't one enough? So he answered them, I need two, one for Zocher, one for Shomer. Listen what Reb Shimon learned from this. This is what I wanted to tell you from the beginning of the daf. I hope you don't mind. That this is the antidote to all of the tzaras that we just learned about. That if mitzvahs are chavivas on us, Yosef Datayu, so then they were happy because they saw that we can use Gashmias for Ruchmias. That's what we're going to do. Bais, Hashem's Baruch, I hope the whole Yom Tov is that we're going to eat and we're going to drink and we're going to try to be very happy despite the difficulties that we had. We're going to be besimcha because Baruch Hu is going to see how much we love mitzvahs, and because Baruch Hu also will be appeased, will be happy with us. Yosef Datayu. And the other thing also over here is there seems to be the Makkah Rabbi of buying flowers for Shabbos for the Rebbitzin at home because not everybody brings home adassim, but roses, I don't know, whatever it is, lilies. Anything is good. Okay, now, Shoma Reb Pinchas ben Yair Chasane. So now, Reb Shimon bar Yochai, according to one opinion, had a son-in-law named Reb Pinchas ben Yair. There's another opinion that Reb Pinchas ben Yair was his shver. So we're going to go with the pshat, Pasha pshat, that this was his son-in-law. So now they came out of the cave, and they wanted to make a kabbalah upon him. So they looked pretty scruffy from the cave. So he brought them to to the mikveh, to wash up. So he was massaging Reb Shimon bar Yochai the shver's flesh. So he saw that there were mamish cracks in his skin from top to bottom. He was in a lot of pain. So he was crying. So he cried in other words, I'm sorry. So he cried, but then when Pinchas began to cry, so then, when he started to cry, so Reb Shimon started to scream because the tears are salty and they made his skin painful. So therefore, Reb Pinchas ben Yair said to the shver, I feel so terrible that I see you like this. So he told him, you are fortunate, you are happy that you see me, and I'm happy. If you hadn't seen me suffering so much, I wouldn't have been able to write the Zohar. That's how the Mefarshim learned that day he wrote that was the day that he finished the Zohar. The Meikara, how do we know that he learned a lot? So Gemara doesn't say Zohar. That we find later on. In the beginning, when Reb Shimon ben Yochai used to ask kasha, having a faruk Reb Pinchas ben Yair trace the peruke. So Reb Pinchas ben Yair, we used to give him 12 terutzim. The Saif, Rabbi Makshi Pinchas ben Yair Kusha. So, but when Reb Shimon ben Pinchas ben Yair used to ask kasha, having a faruk Reb Shimon ben Yochai asked him about peruke. So now he gave 24 terutzim. So you see that he doubled in his greatness in Torah. Plus, we said that he wrote the Zohar. Now we'll go a little bit further. So now it says, Omar, Hoyel Visrachish Nisa. So obviously all sorts of Nisim happen, as we'll see in a minute. So he said, Ezel Iskin Milsa. So when an ace happens, and this is, by the way, very important for all of us, when an ace happens, so what we have to do is we have to do something for the community. So the Siv, how do we know that's what we're supposed to do? We learn that from Yaakov Avinu. What do we learn from Yaakov Avinu? He says, Yaakov Shalem, when after he was in danger from Esav, and Esav wanted to kill him with the Abra Measish. So Rav said, Shalom Beguf, Yaakov Shalem. So the Gemara says, Rav said, Shalom Begufait. He was healed in his body because after the fight with the Malachs, he was limping. Shalom B'Mamayni, he didn't lose any any money because he gave Esav all these presents, and Shalom b'teirasai, and also Lavan and Esav and everybody tried to ruin him. He was Shalom b'teirasai. Now it says Vayichon es pnei ha'ir. So then what did he do? He set up his tent in the outside of the city. So what's the real pshat? And Amar Rav, Vayichon means chayin. He did something that brought him chayin from the city. Matbeya tikkun lahem. So he made. Some say that's when he invented money. By the way, others say that he just made a coin for them that they didn't have their own coin. Machlokas shavakim tikkun lahem, and he made marketplaces of them, not like the Romans, but he made good ones. Rabbi Yochanan Amar marchatzois tikkun lahem. He made them mikvayis. So now Amar ikemilsa the bailatekune. So he asked, "Is there anything else over here I can do? I can accomplish?" Amar he told him, "Ikuduch this may suffic tuma." Now we're not going to learn this now. We're going to learn this mitzvah Hashem chalamayit, because if we go now to Lamed Aleph, it's going to be a very very big. Long Lamed Dalet. So I just wanted to leave you over here with one thing. We learned a lot. I spoke out a lot, but I wanted to just bring down one thing. So what I mentioned before about Abaye V'Rava. So remember I said that Abaye used to starve himself, and it brought him to be sick. And Rava said it's asur because it brings an aver. So the Gemara says on this that this is the same achlokas that they have in Hayrius Daf Yud. Abaye holds. I'm sorry. Okay, no, okay. Abaye holds. What's olam haba is that they suffer in this world, so they should have a very good next world. And Rav said no. So he said, is it bad for tzaddikim that they should have this world and the next world? So Rav holds that we can have both. So Rabbi say, all the big rabbis said that we pass like Rava, we can have this world and we can have the next world. But like the Gemara says, the Reb Shimon Bar Yochai and Rebbe Eliezer concluded at the end that if you take all the gifts that you're given and you turn them over, that they should be something for the Rebbeinu Shalom, so then it's matcha all the chalayim, gets rid of all the bad things, and with that, Emir Hashem will be able to have an antidote to all the bad things that we saw. Maybe they'll help all the chalayim should have a refuah shalema, and we should be potted up from this terrible magay from Emir Hashem. After Yom Tov, we should be able to go back to the shuls and daven and learn and make simchas properly. Be'ezras Hashem Yisbarach.